Hi, I'm Casey, and I'm interviewing you for a physical aid position.
Hi, I'm Madison. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So my first question is for you just to tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am a soon-to-be graduate from Western Washington University. I will be graduating this spring with a Bachelor's of Science in Kinesiology. I will be specializing in movement studies. In addition to that bachelor's, I will be graduating with a minor in psychology. My first 2 years as a student at Western, I rode on our women's collegiate team. Currently, over the past year, I have had 3 jobs, and 2 of them have been as a nanny, one with an infant and another one with mid-range children. They were 6 and 9. And then my third job is working as a caretaker. It's actually a position through the state for people with disabilities. So I work with a 12-year-old who has Down syndrome, and I'm just his caretaker for a few hours every day. Additionally, about myself, I have an internship working with an athletic trainer at one of our local high schools in Bellingham. I work under her several times a week, learning her techniques and just any advice she has to give to me, assisting taking care of students and tape jobs and hands-on experience within the moment injuries. And that is about all I do.
All right. What are your greatest strengths?
My greatest strengths, one of them I would say, is my deep and strong knowledge of the human anatomy. Western does an incredible job of preparing their students to go out into the field with a well-versed knowledge of the human anatomy. We have several courses that we're required to take that prepare us on the human anatomy and physiology, but in particular we take a human anatomy course that is all hands-on with palpations and finding bony landmarks and how to find muscles based on their activation, and just finding everything you got. And then another one of my strengths, I would say, is my communication skills. So with my 3 jobs that I mentioned earlier, juggling those all at the same time with a full load of classes and the internship, I have learned to balance those all and communicate between the different positions and planning and making my schedule, and just being able to communicate efficiently with everyone in those positions.
Okay. What are your weaknesses?
My weaknesses. I would say that one of my weaknesses is my my tendency to overbook myself. I love to do everything that I can all the time and tend to forget to leave time in my schedule for myself. That being said, I've never overbooked my jobs where I can't show up to one of them, but I have in the past said yes to a few too many people and have performed all the tasks, but at the end of the week I find myself just completely drained and not having left any time for myself to recharge and kind of mentally check in and see how I'm holding up. So I just have a tendency to overbook, but I have learned from my past experiences and have gotten better with that.
So why do you want to work here?
I would like to work here because from your guys' job description, you mentioned that you have a large clientele ranging from people who are trying to gain or establish their activities of daily living, in addition to rehabbing athletes or just people from surgeries. And I currently love working with a large range of clients that I have now in my jobs and don't want to lose that aspect. I value working with people of all kinds and all different phases of life. I find it really interesting, especially being so young in my knowledge. So I would love to be a part of your company and get to help in personal communication with those people, and not only communicating with them what they need, but also knowledge of the human anatomy, I would also be able to help you, or not help you guys because you got it down, but I would be able to work well with clients and be knowledgeable on what they need.
Perfect. Describe a difficult problem you were faced with in your career and what you did to overcome it.
Given that the most prominent career that I've had the past several years has been my education, me along as several other undergraduates overcome or deal with the pressing task of learning to time manage all their courses. I have completed my bachelor's degree within 3 years, so that being the case, I have had to become very good at my prep time, communication with myself and my professors and preparing for the upcoming weeks, given that the course load is incredibly heavy, taking so many credits to graduate within 3 years. That course load I have to prepare ahead of time and look into the future weeks, knowing what's going to be coming and how I can prepare, so when the time comes that I have several tests, that I'm not stressed out and that I'm prepared going into every one.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, my primary goal is to become the strongest employee that I can for your company. I hope to excel in every area that you would need from an employee. I hope to learn all the skills that you guys require and help to be your best asset working with clients. If the opportunity arose within the future to advance my education, I would probably move forward with that, but for the time being, I really hope to become a very proficient PT aide, allowing me to serve others at a higher knowledge level as going to grad school and then coming back to the PT field or OT, working in that range. So hopefully within 5 years, that would be where I was at that level.
What's your biggest achievement?
I would say one of my biggest achievements currently within my short 20 years of life would be my second year of rowing with Western's women's collegiate team. Our team rose to the occasion and won the NCAA National Championship. So that was quite an achievement. We put in over 20 hours of training every week, and we are up at before the crack of dawn. We're up at 4:30, 6 days a week, and on the water by 5, and it's just an incredible commitment. So to see that pan out to the highest achievement you could possibly reach within that level, being the best in the nation, was hands down my greatest personal accomplishment, but it also was not all by myself. It was with my teammates the whole way.
Yeah. What has led you to pursue physical therapy, and why would you be good at this job?
I believe I'd be good at this job because I have experience working with all sorts of clients, and I'm very comfortable with people. And like I mentioned earlier, my knowledge of the anatomy coming out of Western is extensive. And not only that, but I was intrigued to go into this field because growing up and throughout life, I've always been an athlete, and so I've always really appreciated all the PTs that have worked with me along the way and made that journey possible, preventing injuries and rehabbing from injuries. And so I would love to still be a part of the field of helping people move forward from rehab, injury prevention, and just switching over to the other side of the role. So kind of transitioning over.
Cool. Do you have any questions for me?
I do have a few. One of my questions for you would be, if I was to be offered an opportunity to work for your company, what advice would you give to me to help be the most efficient at the job?
Time commitment, first of all. And knowing anatomy is definitely helpful and just making sure that you're taking the opportunity to learn from your peers around you that have had more experience.
Perfect. And then my second question would be what morals or guidelines would you say are the highest priorities of the company?
Health and healing.
Wonderful. I can do that.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Casey.
Nice
I
to meet you.
appreciate your time.
Yes.